What's up guys, my name is Josh, and I figured since I'm new to the AppSpy community and AppSpy in general, I thought I would give a quick introduction of myself and who I am and what I do. And so basically my name is Josh Jones. I play Clash Royale predominantly. Been playing since beta, since day one, which is about 2 years now. And basically what I'm going to be doing is just talking about Clash Royale, making videos about it, my thoughts on different cards, balance changes, just basically different things inside the game, from a kind of pro player perspective, I guess. I'm not a pro player, but I consider myself a very good player, and the next step up for me is to become a pro player, and that's my goal for this year. But anyway, that was just a quick introduction of who I am and what I'm about. So let's jump straight into the video. In this video, we're going to be talking about the balance changes that just dropped on the 24th of January, which is today for me of recording. And yeah, let's just jump straight into it. So first of all, we're going to start off with the Royale Ghost. We all knew it was going to come. We all knew it was happening. And he got hit pretty hard. I mean, he's still a good card because I've played with him. I played with him a little bit earlier. He's still a great card, but he got a -6% on damage. His invisibility delay went from 0.7 seconds to 1.2 seconds, which is what I called for and makes the most sense for him. It's a 0.5 second delay, so half a second delay, which is perfect in my opinion. Hit speed from 1.7 seconds to 1.8 seconds. Not really, too much in it there, but all of those kind of attributes combined, it's a heavy nerf, and he needed it. We've talked about the Royale Ghost in past videos, and we all know, everybody in the community knows that he needed a nerf. Whether it was whether they were going to do a small nerf or a huge nerf, we didn't really know what was happening. But they've hit the Royale Ghost pretty hard. But I can tell you that he is still a great card, for sure. Still viable in the meta, still chopping down everything left, right, and center. He's not a lumberjack, so I don't know why I'd be chopping things down. He has a sword though, so I guess he can chop stuff down. Anyways, moving on to probably my favorite balance of this round of balance changes, and that is going to be the Zappies. And they did exactly what I thought they would do. They've basically changed it, so instead of just targeting ground, it now targets ground and air, which I think is the perfect buff for Zappies in my opinion. They were a dead card. If you looked at the usage rates, nobody was using the card. It was maybe 1 in every 100 people were using Zappies. I personally never saw anybody using the card. Just wasn't viable. So after these changes, I think now that it can target air, it's a game changer. Lava Hound minions, any swarm unit, balloons, skeleton barrel, which is obviously prevalent in the meta right now, and I'll do a video on that later this week because I really want to talk about that because it's a controversial card at the minute. Anyway, yeah, Zappies targets ground and air. I think, yeah, personally, I think that's exactly what exactly what the card needed. And I think it will make it super strong in the meta right now. I think it will go from a card that nobody used instantly to a card that everybody wants to use, and you're already seeing it. I did a grand challenge this morning, and all I saw was Zappies left, right, and center, and I was getting beat by decks like Lava Hound decks and Zappy decks, and it's already a good card. So I'm glad to see that they did that, and yeah, perfect buff for me. Moving on to the next card in this set of changes, it's going to be the Hunter. Didn't really see this one coming. I feel like the Hunter is already a super strong card, if you know how to use him. I guess that's part of the problem, is that not a lot of people, once a card gets released, unless it's picked up by pros instantly like the Royale Ghost was, I don't see many people using the Hunter, is what I'm trying to say. Like they released the Hunter, nobody really used him, and then once the pros kind of found out that he was a great card, obviously he was viable in the meta, and I don't think he needs the change. And the changes will be range from 5 to 4, bullet spreads slightly smaller, which is kind of confusing because you don't know if it's a nerf or a buff, but it's definitely a buff because his projectile range remains at 6.5, but basically as he approaches the tower, he's going to step 1 tile closer, which means he's going to do a slight bit more damage to the tower, and obviously in any tanks coming at him, he's always going to drop them 4 or 5 shots as he does now anyway. So he's a tad stronger, and I didn't think he needed it, but I definitely think it will boost him up into the meta, one of the top used cards for sure. So get ready to see a lot of Hunters in this meta. Well, I predict anyway. Moving on to the next card, we had next two cards. We had the Night Witch and the Bats. We'll talk about the Bats first. They got a hit speed nerf of from 1 second to 1.1 second. You know, it's tough because I feel like I wanted them to remove one of the bats to make 4 bats instead of 5 bats. But then obviously when they did that, the bats sucked and nobody used them. So it was a tricky situation for them, and I understand that. But so what they did, 1 second to 1.1 second. I still see bats everywhere, and I still think people are going to use them regardless because they're a 2 elixir cycle card, and you need to zap them to get rid of them. There's nothing else you can really, on arrows of course, but they're always a problem. You have to deal with them, regardless of it, whether they have a 1.1 second attack speed or a 1 second attack speed. So they're still going to be a great card, but I think this might rein them in just a tad, just a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. It could be touch and go with that one. I'm not really sure. But obviously that ties in with the Night Witch, and they gave her a ever so slight buff to kind of counteract the slight nerf to the bats. So what they did with the Night Witch was the initial bats that she spawn quicker, which it's technically a buff, but I don't see how that would make her stronger. I feel like she's going to be the same card, and she's still a great card. She's a balanced card in my opinion. So not really too much to say about that one. This is a big one for me, in my opinion. I don't use this card personally, but I feel like people who do you'll be super happy about it. It's the Lava Hound, and its hit points has been increased by 5%, so obviously a huge buff. I'm not sure what the exact figure is, but I'm pretty sure it's like an extra 130 hit points, which is quite significant if you think about it. I think that will make the Lava Hound viable again. It's already a strong card. It's already super viable anyway, but I feel like it will just put it up that next level, and people will want to start using the Lava Hound again, and we're going to see lots of Lava Hound Zappy decks. Calling that right now. Moving on to the next card, this is one that I called for in my last video, or one of my last videos, and it's the Goblin Hut. It's got a nerf. Spawn speed 4.9 seconds to 5 seconds, which basically means 1 less Spear Goblin will spawn in total. Not a huge nerf. Some people wanted to see it get hit harder, but I think it's a great card for beatdown players, but it's obviously an annoying card to deal with because it's a spawner, right? And it's a building, so you kind of have to deal with it. You can't just leave it alone. But we've talked about it in the past. I think they did the right thing by nerfing it, but in my opinion, they didn't nerf it too much. They didn't nerf it enough, in my opinion. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it's still an annoying card. I feel like it will be. 1 less Spear Goblin, is that really going to make a difference? We'll soon. We'll find out. I don't know. And then moving on to the next. Actually, no, we're going to skip those two, and we're going to save them for last because they're super surprising. And we're going to go to the Mortar, which is a super controversial card on the ladder because it's just insanely strong. And the minimum range has been reduced from 4.5 to 3.5, which basically means, okay, first of all, it's a nerf, but basically it means if you see a Mortar being placed, and offensively, obviously, you can you'll plop a Knight down, or a Giant, or a Prince, or whatever card you have to distract it. And basically, as that Prince or Giant gets closer to the Mortar, it's still going to shoot. It's probably going to get an extra shot on your troop, and it won't retarget to the tower, if that makes sense. So essentially, you're going to have a little bit more time to deal with the Mortar. So I think it's a good nerf. And actually, it's a little bit of a buff on defense, because then that means if you play a Mortar defensively, as the incoming troops come in, it's going to have more time to shoot the troops coming in. So I think defensively it's a buff, but offensively it's a nerf, which is perfect because it's a defensive card. So I think they did a great job on that one. Mortar's still going to be incredibly strong, so it's not going to go anywhere. It never will. It's just one of those common cards that they need to deal with, and I'll talk about that in another video. But yeah, last two changes in this round of balances is surprisingly the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and the Lumberjack, which they both got an increase of 7% in hit points. I don't know if I'm a fan of this one, because Lumberjack's incredibly strong already. I don't really think he needed it. I think they just kind of did it because I don't think that those cards have ever had a buff. So I think they thought, hang on, let's give these cards some love. Let's increase the hit points a little bit. I know Lumberjacks had several buffs, but I can't recall Mini P.E.K.K.A. having a buff. So I don't know. I have mixed opinions on this one because Mini P.E.K.K.A already shuts a Hog Rider down. So now with 7% more hit points, you know, it's obviously not going to change the damage it does to the Hog Rider, but you know, fireballs will do less damage and stuff like that, and it's a knock-on effect. But I think it's a bit of a random change, but I'm kind of here for it, kind of not. Mixed feelings on that one. And yeah, that does it for these changes. Some great changes, some not so great changes. Love the Zappies change. Love the Hunter change because he's already a great card anyway, so it's going to be great for me, him receiving a little buff. You know, Royale Ghost change, love it. Still going to be a great card. So Lava Hound change, again, doesn't really affect me because I don't use it. And yeah, Mini P.E.K.K.A Lumberjack, very strange changes for me, but we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Well, I'm going to try them out a bit later and see if they've increased, see if they're a better card in the meta, or see if they will make their way into the meta. Hopefully they do. I like the Lumberjacks, super unique card. I want to do a video on him. But anyway, I digress. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of the balance changes in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.